you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Are you Kermit?
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to sing. Let's go to the podcast.
Start. Okay. Hi, I'm Ahmed Eldawah.
I'm Pete Peterson.
And I'm Jake Glasser.
And this is another podcast.
Podcast time.
All right, anyway.
So today we are reviewing The Live Grinch with Jim freaking Carrey. I'm so excited. I suggested this, by the way. Obviously, as a Muslim, I'm a very big fan of The Grinch for some reason.
Clearly.
Yeah, that's just... I don't know. But before we get into The Grinch, we're going to get into some news. It's very short, though. So, actually, no, it won't be, because we have some trailers to talk about, obviously.
Oh, wait, can I stop you right before we go into that? I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so as many of you watching may or may not know, last episode we reviewed Space Jam.
Oh, my God.
We enjoyed working on that a lot. And I happen to own some Space Jam memorabilia that I didn't remember I owned because it's a little bit old. I hadn't worn it in a long time. So I didn't wear it to the review prior, but I did want to bring it in today. So I'll just want to show that off real quick before we get started.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's visible.
Also, I thought we agreed we were wearing festive things today, but then, like, literally I'm the only one who did anything.
He's Jewish, I'm a Muslim. What did you expect?
I don't know.
This is as festive as I get.
Hey, I gave you the idea to just write in a sheet of paper, I'm a Muslim, and then tape it to your shirt. And also, Hanukkah is still a thing. You don't have Hanukkah stuff?
I could have worn a yarmulke, except Hanukkah ended that at least 2 days ago.
Yeah.
It's
Whatever.
It's over.
Whatever. I'm just salty because I'm wearing an alpaca.
Because you look like Waldo from Where's Waldo. And you know what? Be proud of it.
Embrace it, Pete.
You're representing an underrepresented facet of society.
And what? The Society of Waldos?
Yeah, the Waldos.
The Waldos, yeah.
All right, let's get into news.
Let's get into news. So, first thing, real quick, Men in Black reboot with Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, and they were great in Thor Ragnarok. They had a great relationship and thing going on. So I thought, that's really I'm excited for that. I'm hoping they bring
Yeah, it's definitely a good
Will
pairing.
Smith in there somehow. I'm not sure how they.
Yeah, I mean,
They'll probably make a cameo.
Is it a reboot or is it like a sequel? Because it's a sequel, right?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I've heard differing stories about it.
Because if it's a sequel, then like Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones can kind of be like the people who like kind of like take them under their wings. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's how the original started, was with Tommy Lee Jones taking Will Smith under his wing, right?
Yeah.
So it would make sense to kind of, even if people are going to call it unoriginal, it would make sense to recycle that plot line. Because, I mean, that's been done a bunch of times.
I don't know why, but I thought that Tommy Lee Jones' character died in the third one, but I don't remember the third one at all because it was bad.
That's the one with time travel.
That's the one with time travel, so it's not very clear.
He does die, the different version of him, or like he gets killed in a different timeline, and then Will Smith has to travel through time to fix it. Yes, it's very complicated. Although I will say, the most memorable part, ironically, because I don't know about ironically, but just interestingly, the most memorable part of that movie to me is the song from the soundtrack that Pitbull did. I think it's just called Back in Time, and it's granted, I don't mean to offend any Pitbull fans out there. I'm not a huge fan of Pitbull, but a lot of his songs get very popular, and that's one of my personal favorites. It's very catchy. That was the exclusive song for Men in Black 3. Give it a listen when you get the chance.
Sure. I'm sure we will. I won't put it in the description. And then next up, so Kevin Hart was announced as the 2019 Oscars host and then summarily stepped down after 48 hours.
Really? Did people like...
They found...
Were people angry at him? Or
Yeah.
Like they found like homophobic like tweets that he had.
Like 2009, 2010, which, I mean, like, the thing about it is that he handled it so poorly because he was like, I'm not going to apologize. And he was like, I've grown and changed as a person. I've addressed this several times, which he actually hasn't. Like, that's not true.
But also, it doesn't erase what you've done.
Yeah.
Like you can't expect everyone to forgive you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So.
Also, he's like when he says address it, he's the best thing that people could find was like an old, I think it was Rolling Stone interview where he was asked about it, as well as a stand-up routine he does where he's like, I don't know, I hope I don't have a gay son or something like that. And then like he was asked about that, and he was like, look, I'm not gonna apologize for what I do, and like he doesn't even address it there. So in general, he just handles it very poorly.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he expected. But what I kind of find amusing is that like the Oscars is like constantly trying to avoid like controversy.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're safe with Kevin Hart. No, they're not.
They try to avoid it so hard, and yet they always become victims of it anyway. What was the whole thing? I don't know if it was the Oscars. It might have been a different award show a few years back where they wanted people to dress in black, like all black clothes. Was that in support of like? Was it?
I have no idea
like,
what you're talking
I
about.
can't remember.
No, you don't. Okay, all right.
Sorry, I don't.
Anyway,
I distinctly
These
remember
award
that
shows
being
go
a
away.
thing.
But also, I find it amusing because they didn't expect Kevin Hart to not apologize, so they're like scrambling and they can't find another host.
Just make
Yeah,
it one
yeah,
of
yeah.
just make it one of the late night show hosts, and everyone will be fine with
Yeah,
it.
apparently
honestly.
they're considering like a sort of variety show
That
type of thing where they have just a whole bunch of celebrities
Yeah,
just doing
it's
stuff.
It's such a toss up though. Every time they try to like put those skits in there between celebrities, like as they're announcing the winners of awards, it can be funny, and it can be
not.
really not funny. It's totally.
I hate award shows. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah,
They're
same
just,
here.
They're just stupid. And,
No, it's stupid.
Like I
but
don't.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
And moving on, one more.
Speaking of award shows.
Speaking of
Oh,
award shows,
well.
Sandra Oh and Andy Samberg, who is great, are going to host the 76th Golden
Yeah.
Globe Awards, and I don't really want to talk about it, but it's worth mentioning because Andy Samberg is great, and whatever.
Do you guys watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine at all?
I've seen one episode which was not bad. It wasn't my favorite personally, and it might just be for nostalgic reasons. I always go back to his stuff from when he was with Lonely Island. I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
solid.
that. I'm not going to say that's where he peaked, but that's where he peaked.
You're wrong, but yeah, I do like that stuff. But you should give Brooklyn Nine-Nine another chance. It has some really really great moments.
And that's something just want to harbor on next up. So the first Sonic the Hedgehog poster for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie has come out, and it's really bad.
Why is this a movie? Why does
So,
this need to be a thing?
Let me just pop it on screen for you guys. Notice how weirdly human Sonic looks with his arms and legs. Have you seen
I'm not
the
really
poster?
surprised by that. All of those like the video game movie adaptations, they try to either they make the characters like overly realistic, or they do live action with like weird plot changes so that they don't have to put on as much makeup. Like the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is, we might have to tackle that. That is, I mean, of all of the bad movies that are like up there on the higher echelons of bad, that's really, really far up there.
Yeah.
To the point where I read an interview where John Leguizamo said it was the worst filming experience of his entire career, and it was either him and or one of the other co-stars broke their arm during filming, and then was consistently under the influence of alcohol when they were filming the end of the film just to get through it.
Oof.
That's rough. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, it looks so bad, and it's hilarious because I was reading the article, and the guy who was talking about, they interviewed somebody about the designing of Sonic the Hedgehog, and they were like, so Sega really didn't want us to make the changes, but we felt like it was necessary.
I think part of the appeal of those characters, a lot of those simple, not even just video games, but cartoon characters in general, their simplified design with just 2 dots on a line, that makes the face. You don't have to over design these characters. You keep the color palette relatively reserved, 2 to 3, maybe 4 or 5 colors if even.
Or just don't make this movie, because
That's a good point.
Because why do we need a Sonic the Hedgehog movie?
I feel like it would be fine if they made it fully animated, fully
Yeah,
2D animated.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. I see why they're doing it, but if they were going to make a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I wish they went classic Sonic 2D animated. That would have been really cool. What's it? The Sonic Mania, the new classic Sonic game. They also had animated shorts and everything, and they look fantastic because they're very much in the like classic Sonic like styling, and they just look really cool.
Oh,
And
do you mind if I throw in a little? Because there was the Michael Jordan McDonald's ad that I quoted from last episode. I don't know if any of you checked that out. One of the other kind of internet joke things that would be up there, kind of in the same vein, it was a thing from the Sonic cartoon in like the 80s or 90s, where there was a segment at the end, I think, of episodes called Sonic Says, where it was like during the DARE campaign and stuff. They tell you not to do drugs, to stay away from strangers. So Sonic would show up on screen, and there's a very famous one where he comes up and he says, "Hey kids, if a stranger comes up to you and tries to touch you in a place that you're not comfortable with, say no, because that's no good." And then he like speeds off. Yeah, they knew how to handle that topic real well. So there's another painful segment accompanied with a painful impression. Go ahead and check that one out if you want, or don't. Do yourself a favor and don't.
But yeah, also, just because we're going to be talking about Jim Carrey soon. Jim Carrey is Robotnik.
Is that right?
He is Robotnik.
That is
oddly enough, that actually sounds like that could work.
Yeah, right. But the thing that I don't think
he's
works,
insane.
But the thing that I don't think works is apparently who they cast as Sonic is the guy who plays John Ralphio in Parks and Rec.
I love him.
They cast him?
Him as Sonic.
That is so good. Now I'm fully on board with this Sonic movie.
Doesn't Sonic already have like a voice from the games and the cartoons and stuff?
John Ralphio as Sonic.
Yeah, but they want to.
Is it him?
I hope Sonic
No.
just acts like John Ralphio. That'd be so great.
I want Sonic just to be like any character from like Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
That's it.
just
But yeah, I don't know if I'm sold
it's just
on
a
that.
reskinned version of Parks and Rec.
You just have like is Ron Swanson I haven't seen a lot of Parks and Rec. Is he? Yeah, all right, I know.
He's the mustache guy.
Right, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. I imagined that you could make Sonic, or maybe no, make Knuckles Ron Swanson.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, come on, Knuckles, we got to go on an adventure. And he's like, no, I'm sculpting this chair from raw oak.
So they're making a Sonic movie. That's dumb. The poster's stupid. Sonic's design is going to be dumb. It's probably going to have a stupid story.
But it's going to be amazing because John Ralphio is Sonic.
All right, what's next on the bill?
Okay, finally, let's talk about it. Captain Marvel trailer, first things first, because it's the first thing came out. We were going to talk about it last week. We forgot.
Yeah, no, it's...
I hadn't seen it yet, sorry.
You're stupid. Anyway, I'm going to stop being mean to you on this podcast.
No. That's what's going to bring people back. That's the character development.
Captain Marvel trailer. So, initial thoughts. Excited?
Yeah,
I am.
very much so. Sorry, I'm really tired right now, so it's hard for me to get re-excited about these trailers, but trust me, I'm so excited.
I'm pretty excited. I don't know that much about Captain Marvel, but honestly, I mean, the trailer was interesting. I'm just glad to see that we're finally getting Marvel to do like a proper, full-on movie with a female hero lead. Like it's just kind of dumb that it's taken that long.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think Captain Marvel's a good choice.
One thing I'm really excited for is that I think, and this is sort of my guess, is that I think that the Skrull aren't necessarily going to be the bad guys in this movie.
I think the point is it's just going to be like the Kree and they're both going to be bad guys, both the Skrull, but it's not. It's like it's less so like they're like the bad guys that we're like going to fight and like we're the noble Kree and we're gonna fight them. It's gonna be like she's gonna realize, oh, both these guys are idiots and their whole war is dumb.
Are the Skrulls the ones that can like transform into other people?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I remember I used to read. My dad used to collect comics when he was little. That's how I got most of my like original Spider-Mans, stuff like that. And that's like the majority of the comics that I've read is some of the older issues because of that. So he had a lot of Fantastic Four, and the Skrulls would show up relatively frequently, especially a little bit later. So I only know them from that.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I think that one thing I just love is that like Samuel L. Jackson is just kind of playing like a slightly more fun-loving Fury.
Well, because now that he's like unemployed from S.H.I.E.L.D., he doesn't care.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, well, now that is
this is a prequel?
Is
I
it?
mean, it's like not like it just takes place in the 90s.
Did you
in
not
the
notice?
90s? I did not know that.
Did
my
you
God,
not
Jake.
notice how he didn't have an eye patch?
Yeah, and that he wasn't bald.
Well, you just played me the trailer, but I had my glasses on, so I wasn't really.
Oh my God. I mean, you should have known this from A, the first trailer, B, like being up to date all the time, always on every trailer and every announcement, and do better.
I disgraced myself in front of the Pete Peterson.
I just like Samuel L. Jackson when he's like playing like a really fun character. So like when he was like in because I've seen bits of Kingsman when he's like playing like the character from Kingsman. Or
that was fantastic. I loved him in that.
Oh yeah. Or have you guys ever seen The Hitman's Bodyguard?
No,
I saw the trailer for it. It looked okay. I didn't end up seeing it.
It's an all right. It's very fun, and I love Samuel L. Jackson's character in it because he's just always like, I don't care at all about anything, and it's just the best thing in the world.
I like how they're not showing us a lot of the villains in the trailer because a lot of the time action movies will ruin the climax of the movie by showing you a lot of the villain in the trailer.
Yeah.
I think Marvel's really mastered the art of not telling people what's going on in a trailer.
Except, actually, I completely disagree with that point because I think it is very obvious what they're doing.
Well, you've read the comics, right?
Well, no, but here's the thing: is that we
not
think it's obvious. Remember how you watched like the Infinity War trailers, and you were like Thanos is gonna get all the rings, and he's gonna like they're probably gonna beat him and whatever.
No, but I didn't even think that they were gonna beat him. I mean, like I didn't. I thought he was gonna end up on top. I don't know because I knew that there was a second part of it. But
I just couldn't stop focusing on his like weird indented chin. That was just such a weird design choice. I know that's how he looks in the comics, but like it looks even weirder when he takes his helmet off and he has like a completely smooth head.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a few creases in it, but then his chin.
I like it better than with the.
I know he's supposed to be
helmet.
an alien.
Yeah. But the Captain Marvel, okay, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems like what's gonna happen is that she's gonna be working with the Kree, and then they're like.
I'm not talking about like the basic plot structure. I'm saying like there are going to be a lot of surprises that'll be thrown at us, like that you wouldn't have expected.
I don't think that.
I believe that there is because I think that this is like a movie that they're going to consider very big and like because it's coming before, and it's going to set up a lot probably for Endgame, which we'll talk about next. But I think it's going to be setting up a lot for Endgame, and that's what I'm assuming it's going to be setting up a lot for Endgame. So that's why I think that there's a lot that they're not like that you're going to find out in the movie, and you're going to be like, wow, I couldn't even guess from the trailers. Because that's what I think. I think they're taking extra special care with this one.
All right, agree to disagree.
That's my guess. I don't know. But yeah, if that's all we want to say, then we have the really, really big trailer to talk about.
The trailer itself wasn't huge.
Well, no,
but that's because everyone
but
died in the last one.
It was also super cool, dude.
But like,
it is exciting.
The one that we've all been really anticipating. Avengers Endgame.
It's like Iron Man's. He's on a ship and he's like, "Yo, dude, I'm on a ship and I'm running out of food, man, and I'm dying." And then he's all sad.
Exactly how he says
"Hey,
it.
hey, hey, I'm bringing down the trailer."
Yeah, just let him go. Just let him break it down.
And Captain America's all like crying. He's like, "My friend's dead." And Black Widow's like, "Oh yeah, it's kind of dumb." But like, you're gonna do the plan? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do the plan. And then like,
also I shaved my beard like an idiot.
Yeah, I know. Go back to sexy beard.
That was a nice beard.
It was a nice beard.
For the record, can we just all agree on that? Whatever artistic choices they make in the future, I don't care. That was a nice beard.
Was a great idea.
But then Hawkeye's out in the rain and he's like doing his sword thing because he has the Ronin costume, which is super cool, and I love that design from the comics, and he's super cool, which means his family's probably dead. Which
great.
Doom. But I love these movies so much.
I'm very hype.
I am actually excited for Ant-Man to be in there.
Yeah, I
wasn't expecting Ant-Man to be one of my favorite Marvel movie characters, but just the way that they did him, I'm a big fan of Paul Rudd, I think. And I wasn't expecting him to be like the more comedic character, but he ended up being that, and it works. I don't know.
I love Ant-Man, and I'm glad that like. I enjoy the fact that just at the end of the trailer they were just like, oh, by the way, Ant-Man just like shows up at like the gate, and I don't even know if that maybe they won't actually pull that like in the actual thing, but like that's how they're doing it in the trailer. It's just like he's just here, like he just shows up like somehow they're stuck in like the what's it called, like
the microscopic
realm.
Yeah, quantum realm. At the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, is it the post-credit sequence that they show that?
Yeah,
because everyone who's there to bring him back up gets dusted.
Gets dusted.
Snapped.
So
yeah.
I don't know. They'll explain.
Well, yeah. I
mean,
mean, like, yeah, and like, well, I mean, potential spoilers for Infinity War, but based on like set photos that I've seen, and what happens in the post-credit scene for Ant-Man, like they mentioned something I forget exactly, but like time rifts or something like that, like it's either Hope or Janet Van Dyne like says that, and so right before he gets in, and a lot of the set photos, it looks like the Avengers like going through time, like going to the first Avengers movie. Like there are set photos of Captain America in his Avengers uniform with like an older Tony Stark. So like
That's interesting.
That's how they're gonna solve something, and that might be how they bring in Captain Marvel, but I don't know.
I don't know, something about that. Time travel can be utilized as a good storytelling element, but it's really difficult to use it and just not confuse everything. I think they have a good idea of how they should use it. I just don't want them to go overboard.
The key with like time travel stuff is just to like not take it too seriously, because there's no way to get it perfectly. If you go down somewhere like, well, he went back in time, and like, what if like he did this thing? Shouldn't that have ripples on the future?
Right.
Just like, don't think about it. It's a movie. Shut up.
That's why I appreciated how they did it in Deadpool 2, is they acknowledged that it like gets really confusing, and then at the end they use it as like this huge thing that like rewrites the whole plot they just set up. But like that's part of the joke.
Yeah.
But also that
like,
makes sense because that's the type of movie it is.
True.
You're not supposed to take it that seriously.
Yeah. But
Exactly.
again, just it's time travel. Don't take it too seriously. Just take it for on face value for what like the movie. How you ruin time travel is by making it too complicated and trying to over-explain all these different aspects. You just got to keep it simple and just say you traveled through time and yada yada yada.
That applies to like every kind of lore that you set up in any
that's fair.
any series.
Yeah.
The more that you establish, the more you have to stipulate on, and it's easier and easier to write yourself into a corner over time. So a lot of the time you have to retcon stuff. I mean, that's why we've had a million different incarnations of Superman, is because they keep changing his powers.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if I agree with the time travel thing. At least I don't think that's how they're gonna bring in Captain Marvel, specifically because at the end of Infinity War, how Nick Fury has like the little
that's probably not going to be how they bring in.
They might,
but I would bet you $50 that there's going to be time travel in this movie.
I won't take that bet because you've seen the set photos and I haven't.
I think there probably will be also
up
just
set
because
photos.
like how else are they gonna undo everything that Thanos does?
They might be able to use the glove or something.
Well,
It's
that
not
would
clear
require
how that-
time travel, though.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
and they've already established
to
that they can
unsnap people,
They can,
not necessarily, because it's like a god thing. Like it's like
well, I mean, yeah, but the time stone, like they can.
that's what I'm saying.
okay, so
I guess it would be easier to just like snap your fingers and put everything back to the way it was, instead of just using the time stone to go back in time and try things differently.
yeah, it's not very clear how the Infinity Gauntlet works, which is kind of the point. It's just a god tool, It's,
Well, every series is going to have their kind of MacGuffin, right? That's the
yeah,
term.
it's like a MacGuffin.
like here. You can pull this up in the thing, but like there's like Avengers 1 Captain America talking to a clearly like older Tony Stark with Ant-Man there, and they have I don't know.
He's wearing like the exact same jacket that he had when he had left Earth in Infinity War. I think he's just like, because he was like stuck in space and all that stress, it might be that like that's just what happens to like his hair or something like that.
I'm not saying it's an older Tony Stark. I'm saying it is present the Tony Stark from that movie talking to Captain America.
Oh,
from
I didn't
the first
even
Avengers
notice
movie.
that costume. That's
Yeah,
why I'm
yeah.
so stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
that is definitely the older costume, because
And Ant-Man obviously
the
wasn't
color
there.
is like
Yeah.
brighter, and he has the arm shoulder strap things.
Oh yeah, I didn't even. I was like looking at Tony Stark and I feel silly now, but that's interesting.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I just realized we're probably alienating a lot of people who like don't give a crap about this stuff.
Well, we're nerds and we
That's
want to talk
true.
about nerd stuff. It's not like
Yeah, I know. But like also we're not like really explaining anything. We're just kind of expecting most people to understand what we're talking about.
To be fair, I think a lot of these, these superhero movies, as of right now, they're like blockbuster hits.
Yeah.
A lot of people tend to see them, so I don't think
Yeah.
it's totally unreasonable for us to assume that the majority of the viewers watching have seen them. If you haven't, though, that's fine.
Yeah, but
I mean, if we tried to explain it, it would be kind of difficult, mildly, because there would be so much we would need to explain, because
Well,
these
that's
are
just like-
universes and not just like individual movies,
like-
like a sequel or like something like that.
It's
like,
inherent of nerd culture, right?
Yeah.
It's for everything to be convoluted, and then for the nerds to just expect everyone to know what they're talking about.
Yeah, pretty much exactly.
That's how we live our lives.
But yeah,
I think.
Do you want to move on?
Yeah, move on. Done.
Yeah, let's
get.
I'm very excited for Endgame, and that's all we really have to say because there's no point really throwing theories around because you don't really get anything from the trailer. So
Yeah.
like you just get like the very individual clips. It's hard to sort of gauge from.
I just
think
want more of Mark Ruffalo. Like with every Marvel movie with him in it,
Yeah,
I think he gets more and more entertaining.
Yeah.
he is really fun.
All right. I think we should just go into Grinch.
Real quick, I just want to say that the Far From Home trailer came out like in this past week, and they haven't released it online as of this recording, and I'm so angry at Marvel for that.
I mean, we'll probably get it soon.
We'll get it soon.
Also,
but
I'm
why?
well, maybe because they already released the Captain Marvel trailer and the
Yes.
Avengers trailer and
Yes.
3 trailers at the same time.
They're taking a little break.
Yes,
Yeah, that would
but
make sense.
also
Although-
it's just like I was like there was a whole bunch of like hype because they specifically were like, oh, we're gonna like reveal it at this con and then we're going to release it online later on, and then they were like, oh, actually we're just not gonna release it later on in the day. Never mind. Sorry guys, that's just not happening anymore.
Yeah, I'm okay with that though.
But,
like,
like,
I
I just-
Well,
I want to. I honestly don't want to see any trailers for like that kind of stuff until after Endgame comes out because like then it's just like
It's too much to kind of process or to
well,
keep in your head.
Yeah, and it's like I like not knowing because it's gonna take place after, and as of going into Endgame, half of everybody in the entire universe is gone, and so if I see the trailer for Spider-Man, and it's like, oh no, everything's fine now, then it's just like,
That
oh,
might be-
okay.
Reportedly,
Well-
it doesn't they don't in the trailer. It doesn't even remotely mention anything from Infinity War or Endgame.
what's
or
the
anything.
thing? I mean,
but I mean, like,
I understand what you're saying.
But even not mentioning it is like, well, you're expecting that it's the world as it is, like right now, like as in like it's like everything's fine, and that's even still better than how it is going into Endgame. Which
I will
is,
say it's definitely the trailer alone is going to cement where it is in the timeline because the star character, well, we all know what happened to him in Infinity War, so we know it either has to be like right
Yeah.
before that or
well,
sometime after Endgame.
It's sometime after.
It's
Yeah,
gonna be
I was gonna
the
say.
answer, yeah. The
So
answer
that's
is
probably why they
after.
haven't released it like to the internet yet. I would
Maybe.
imagine because they want to tease more of Endgame since that
Exactly.
would theoretically be coming out first.
I don't know. I think
What
reportedly,
do you mean, theoretically, it's
What?
coming out
no,
first.
yeah, it's
Well,
coming out first.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
is it this coming summer is when it's planned
Yeah,
for?
it's like
Yeah.
it's April.
April, yeah.
Oh, okay, so even kind of before that.
Yeah, they are apparently releasing. They like moved it up a little bit, but no. Tom Holland said that they just kind of wanted to just do it just for the fans that were there, which is fine. I get it, but like, because they promised it and then they like kind of just like went back on it and it kind of.
I would honestly, I
hurts
would
me a little bit.
I would trade quite a few trailers in just to get the one Spider-Man trailer because, I mean, I think we all love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
A
Also,
lot.
I really want to see Mysterio because
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Jake Gyllenhaal
Jake Gyllenhaal.
shaved Mr. Lion.
Well, some of the people watching aren't going to understand.
Hey, everyone knows Mr. Lion, and if you don't,
Oh, that's true.
get a life.
Yeah, if you don't know Mr. Lion, fix that and
He's-
meet him. He's
yeah.
a wonderful man.
Just wherever you are, even if you're like in like
Also,
England, just like
he enjoyed my freak out session from the Space Jam review, so that's how you know he's cool.
Mr. Lion is he's a
shout out to him.
yeah.
Does he have like a thing we can plug, like a social
No,
media?
I was just now I'm just imagining like a cartoon lion with like a bow tie and a top hat, and it's like, "Hello, kids, I'm Mr. Lion."
Ahmed, put that in post. Put that on the screen.
Why
Like-
give me so much work? All
It's
right.
not that much work. You just got to put a
So
graphic
if you don't know
up.
who Mr. Lion is, just imagine a cartoon lion with a bow tie and a top hat.
Pretty
and
much.
that's pretty much him.
Pretty much him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about the Grinch. Let's talk
Yeah,
about
Let's.
let's talk about this interesting piece of film.
General thoughts first of all, just before we get into the nitty gritty.
This is such a bad movie. I mean, it's so all over the place. Like I'm just baffled. Like
I believe that's what I said last episode about. Well,
Okay.
I shouldn't harp on that. But
except Space Jam is freaking awesome. But the Grinch,
obviously,
like, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. there are several times that I laughed at this movie, like
Right.
genuine jokes.
There were some clever moments.
Because
There were
there are
clever
some funny
moments.
parts, but just it's tonally all over the place, and it's just so weird and also boring at a lot of parts. Like
My main issue with it is I mean, I'm a huge fan of like the original Dr. Seuss works. Like, you say what you will about the guy because he had a lot of problems in his own life, but he wrote some really powerful stuff that sticks around to this day consistently. And every time they try to make a movie adaptation, it fails in every possible way. The only exception that did it decently was Horton Hears a Who.
that's true.
And even then, not that great. But granted, it's hard to stretch out a short children's book into a 2-hour film, so I get that they have to pad stuff in there. But you know, it just seems like the things that they choose to do don't almost never fit with the tone of the original story.
Yeah. Like the whole point is that like the Who's don't care. Like I get they changed it like so the Who's were the materialistic people, but like the whole point of like the original Grinch story is that the Grinch like steals all the presents, and then like he like. But and then like the Who's wake up and they're like, oh, we don't care. But in this, it's like they wake up and they're like, hell's our presents? Like,
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's more realistic to real life.
Yeah, right.
It actually takes away from it
I don't
because
know.
the moral of the original is
like,
the spirit of Christmas.
I mean, like
Well,
they
no,
come
but, like,
they
they
come
come around to
They
it.
come back around.
Well, yeah,
to
but
that,
not
Because
until
they kind of switch roles with
Yeah.
the Grinch, because the Grinch hates Christmas because everybody's so materialistic,
No,
and
no,
he's
no,
like
no.
kind
In
of
the
anti-consumer.
In the Jim Carrey version,
In
the
the Jim
Grinch.
Carrey- no, that's what I'm saying.
In
No,
that
yeah,
version,
what are
he
you talking
hates.
about? He hates
He hates
Christmas.
Christmas because he got bullied as a kid.
No, actually, he just inherently hates Christmas.
Yeah,
like he was born and he hated Christmas. Like, and then that was just amplified because they made fun of him for having a beard.
And then he
Like,
tries to
but
shave
also,
the beard.
What beard? He didn't have a beard.
He just has like a little
Yeah, he
fuzz
has, like,
on his
fuzz.
chin,
I
but he has fuzz
guess.
everywhere.
Yeah, he's kind of just hairy in general.
Okay,
that's a good point.
Why is that his? What?
I don't know.
All right. You know
kinda
the
added a
Grinch.
weird-
It's really simple. It's just a guy. He doesn't like Christmas, but we got to make him compelling. We got to add depth to this character.
Because
How
they're
about-
trying
how
to
about-
stretch
how
it
about-
out to a feature-length movie.
I know, and why?
that's not
This
the
movie-
way to
This
do
movie
it.
did not need to be 2 hours, almost 2
Well, it's an hour.
hours.
It's an hour and a half.
It's an hour and 44 minutes.
Okay, I just want to say, because none of the Dr. Seuss stories need to be that long because the messages they're trying to convey don't need that much time to get across. They're made for kids. It's already relatively easy to understand because it's made for kids. Plus, it's a short read. That's the whole draw to it, aside from like the cool artwork and certain metaphors and using animals for storytelling. I think that's a great thing that he utilizes. Dr. Seuss is using animals for storytelling because they're a great way to do it, and it's easy to kind of identify like, oh, okay, this animal is this character type, and it's very easy to follow. And it's, you know, little kids can enjoy it, and then as you get older, you can actually understand the message behind it. Like, that works so well. You don't have to mess with that, but they choose to do it anyway.
I'm just sorry.
It's just very.
I'm looking over my notes, and as I was writing them, I'm like, I can just like butt bullet points. I'll understand what I'm saying. I don't understand most of what. One of my notes is just shoes too tight. What does that mean?
That's because there's a part where I think the narrator is talking about, he's like, so why does the Grinch hate Christmas? Even though they establish why he hates it in the movie, the narrator is like, no one really knows why he hates Christmas, even though they just talked about it. There was a whole multiple scenes devoted to it. And then there's like the rhyming portion, which I think comes from the book, where it's like, oh, maybe, you know, he had this and this. Maybe his shoes were on too tight.
yeah,
which
now
can
I
I just say
remember.
is, why would your shoes being too tight make you not like Christmas? Which,
Yeah,
to be
that's-
fair,
that's why I wrote that down.
think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that comes from the original book.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
yeah.
So
no, and like
it's
yeah,
just
I like
sort of a
that.
weird rhyme.
I like the idea that his shoes are too tight, so he hates Christmas.
Doesn't he not wear shoes like when
Yeah.
he's walking around his
Well,
Grinch cave?
Exactly, because they're too tight.
Exactly. There you go.
He takes them off, but he has to put them on. Even though you see him walking outside in the cold snow with nothing on at certain points, he still has to put at least shoes on for some reason.
I don't know. Here's the thing is that Jim Carrey plays a completely, like, not even completely close version to the book Grinch. But I just kind of like the character that he plays. It's so stupid, but
entertaining.
it's just very, like, it's so out there and, like, ridiculous. And what?
But it's not the Grinch. Like, that's so.
It's absolutely not. But I.
Because what I
Are
love.
you're a Grinch purist.
I am. I'm a Grinch purist.
This
I
is
am
not
devoted.
my Grinch.
No, well, the thing is, so there were already a bunch of animated versions of a bunch
like-
of Dr. Seuss
yeah,
books
yeah.
back in whenever. I don't know when they came out, but
Not
they're
sure.
really good. My personal favorite is my favorite is the original 2D animated Lorax, which is fantastic.
That's great.
Unlike the Illumination one, as much as I love Danny DeVito, I think we all love Danny DeVito very much, especially Pete.
That's a that's a reference.
We can
to,
talk about that
That's
in
to
another
my
episode.
if you saw the TC play, noises off. My bio is a it's a
It's a masterpiece, all right?
I'm just gonna write it in the description, and
not
you guys
write it.
can
No,
like
no, no,
read
no,
it.
no,
Okay, yeah, go ahead and check the description, assuming Ahmed puts that
I
in
do.
there.
I will. I will.
It's a really good bio, probably the best one. My grandma asked me what it meant. My grandma came to see the show because we were all in the show, and it was great. It was a great experience. And then my grandma reads through the playbill, and she's like, "Your friend Pete played Gary, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, he did a good job, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, what? Can you explain this to me?" And she shows me the bio, and I was like, "I don't know." Even though I had already read it at that point, I said, "I don't know. I haven't looked at the playbill yet. I'm not sure." Because like, how even?
how do you
explain that?
How do you explain?
I do love that though. It's fantastic.
It's great.
Yeah. Anyway,
I definitely know what
Lorax,
you're saying.
I'm getting
Like,
off track.
yeah.
Lorax, the original animated Lorax, is so good, and it does a really great
Yeah.
job showing. I don't remember if they do this explicitly in the book, but the original animated version does a great job of showing the Onceler like debating with himself. Like literally, you see him talking to like another version of himself. And sort of, each side is saying one thing. It's almost like having the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, but
Yeah.
a little bit different. And he's, one side will argue, okay, well, this is damaging the environment. The Lorax said no, and then the other side will say, no, there's always an excuse to go bigger. What are we going to do about, all of our resources we've been using? The thing is, what's great about it is, even though the Onceler is technically the antagonist, he's not really a villain. He's
Right,
just
yeah.
someone, and that's the other thing too. The great part about keeping his face hidden is that he could be anyone. It doesn't peg down one specific type of person. This could be anyone who just, makes the mistake of not respecting nature and just taking more than what they can return to it. And I mean, that's such a simple.
Yeah.
Oh,
message.
and like
It's
that's
fantastic.
And then
that's the
they'll-
thing. Like those original cartoons, they really kept the spirit of the Dr. Seuss like books and like kept the messages and were like direct for adaptations, pretty much just animating the drawings. But like the new ones, like the Lorax, it's like very much just trying to make it like more commercial.
It's
and
like
to a broader
capitalizing
audience.
on your kids wanting to see
Yeah.
like bright flashing colors.
Yeah,
for 2
exactly.
hours.
And like they just completely cartoonishly evil the bad guy. Like
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
Also, every like little sort of goofy side character that they're trying to sell toys of has like a minion voice, like the minions from Despicable Me.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
all of them sound like the minions. They have this little high pitched, annoying voice, and there's usually several of them that have a song or dance number, but they don't say words. They just kind of make like Sims noises.
And
Yeah.
It's the best way I can describe
The Grinch kind of does like a similar thing where it's like it like really it's a very loose with the source material to
Very loose.
to say the least.
I will say it does ultimately keep sort of the message that
Yeah,
it's like the
but-
spirit
yeah,
of Christmas.
like, it's not- here's the
that
thing.
rings true
Yeah.
at the end, but not before everyone in the town freaks out and is like debating and arguing with one
because
another.
again, like they're trying to sort of switch it from instead of like the Grinch just being like the only like the presents, that's how you ruin Christmas. They're trying to Ron Howard is like in his sort of version. He's trying to sort of display like, oh, people with Christmas, they're very materialistic. That's the bad thing. And technically, I said that the Grinch doesn't like care about this. That's not true. He has like a rant where he talks about it, like when he's like, remember when he's getting given like his award or whatever, and then like they make fun of him with like the whole haircut thing, and then he's like, well, all you people care about is your materialistic goods, and then that's the only part where like he actually shows that. And then when he actually steals the things, Cindy Lou Who they really give like a big part in this movie, even though she didn't have like a big part in like the original stuff at all.
she
was there, but like
does, but
she definitely does.
no, but she does.
I
but,
will
like,
say the
it's
song
not-
number that they give her is
Oh my
totally
God.
worthless.
I forgot. I wrote down on one of my notes. I forgot it was a musical because like Cindy Lou Who, blah blah blah. She just starts like singing at one point. I was like, oh, it's a musical. And then like there's like no song for like another 20 minutes, and then like they just do also like, they do a rendition of Mr. Grinch.
Yep.
That is so bad.
It's really
it's
bad.
so bad, and it's like all over the place. Like, oh Jesus Christ! And then they just don't do another song for like the rest of the movie, except for one point. They do.
I don't know. I don't even think you can call it a musical.
It's not really
because
a
there's
musical.
there's not enough songs.
So
in it.
what's the point in having Cindy Lou Who like freaking sing?
In the original animated version, the Who's sing, I believe it's Bahu Dore.
Dahu Dore.
Dahu? I don't know.
I think it's Dahu.
Random noises, unless that does mean something. I don't know. And that was fine.
It's super.
does.
That was
It's
great.
Dr.
And-
Seuss.
and
Dr.
it's-
Seuss.
And it's like more memorable. It's 100 times more memorable than whatever song they gave live action Cindy Lou Who, which I will say she's probably the weakest character in that. But granted, it's like they got a child actor to do it, and she's not really. I don't really blame the kid for that, and I can't really harp on the movie too hard for that. It's really hard to get a good child actor, and I think it is better that they didn't just like, put like some kind of weird animated CGI thing in there. That is a great thing about the whole movie. One thing that does stand out that a lot of the Dr. Seuss adaptations do not do is it relies a lot, except from towards the end, it relies a lot on practical effects, all the makeup. I think none of us can deny the makeup is fantastic, hands down.
It's great.
And I also have to commend Jim Carrey for being able to emote through like layers and layers of it.
Yeah, okay, but he's so
Right.
much.
Well, that's
Like,
the thing.
Okay,
That's
also,
what works.
Also,
I like it though.
It's
so fun.
I disagree. I think he's like some of his jokes land, but like a lot of it is just like
Character wise, it's not good, but I do have to sort of applaud his ability, and it's because he's Jim Character. Jim
he's
Jim Carrey.
Jim character.
I might as well call him that because he's pretty much just a character actor, which works really well for him most of the time. But like in The Mask, that's the thing too. He's super memorable in that because it actually makes sense. The Mask character is supposed to be crazy and wild and stuff, so you don't really question it as you're watching the movie. And he's still entertaining. He's in a bunch of other stuff where he's supposed to be like that, but in the original, the Grinch is just really angry.
Yeah.
Which was fine. Like that was easy. It was easy to say like, okay, well, this is your antagonist, but then he comes around because all he has to do is kind of open himself up. This Grinch is just whacked out, and it doesn't really work as well for the character because it's not like contrasting anything because all the Who's are relatively normal. I will say with the exception of the mayor, which we should talk about what happens. Some of the scenes with the mayor.
I put in my notes, "Baby Grinch haunts my nightmares." 'Cause that is a terrifying sight. And
It
just
is.
how like, ugh, it's so creepy.
Well, I think that was that animated or was that live action?
that was live action.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
like it was the most animated looking thing aside from like his sleigh. But then that's kind of the reason that it stood out because it was like, oh, that's weird and creepy, and I don't like it.
Yeah. I'm sure the fact they just there's just like a lesbian couple apparently just there. Like,
go Grinch.
yeah, like I never even occurred to me, but like that's straight up just a lesbian couple.
That whole backstory is so ridiculous.
It is.
It's not a good backstory, but it doesn't like it could be a lot worse, and I kind of like certain parts of it.
What parts of the Grinch being in school and
No, not that specifically, but like when he actually climbs up the mountain.
okay, but that also bothered me a lot because it's like he just ran away into the mountain. No one they didn't call the Who cops.
No one chased him.
No,
yeah.
I
I also love how like
no
granted,
missing child
Yeah.
report. But and like the thing, they all know where he is.
Yeah.
So
but they just leave him up there.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet for like because no one hears from him for like years and years. I bet they were like, oh, he's just dead. He's just, it's like Everest. He just climbed up there and died, and they were like, oh well, no one wants to go up and retrieve his body. He didn't have any blood relatives.
No one has blood relatives. They come from umbrella.
Well,
things.
exactly. That's why it's like no one would care.
Oh,
He doesn't have a family.
did you notice that joke? When the baby lands on the doorstep, he opens it and he's like,
Oh, yeah.
what is he? He's like, oh, the baby's arrived. First of all, like that's just kind of like, I don't know.
They knew what they were doing. when they
But
did that.
then he And he's like, oh, it kind of looks like your boss.
Well, there's little things like that which are funny.
No, it's just, but like that brings me like tonally, it is so all over the place. Like, who is this movie for?
Yeah.
That's a good question because I don't
Like,
know.
I don't know.
Because it has like jokes like that. Okay, also I want to talk about the Grinch straight up like did not care that he was about to murder that kid. Like he super just did not care.
Yeah.
and
then everyone forgives him at the end, and he's like, it's like, oh, pass me some turkey or whatever in the big celebration.
And they play it off like, oh, the Grinch wouldn't have let her die, but like he super would have. Like he was about to just leave, and then the dog was like, no, save it. And he like reluctantly was like,
well, that's the other thing in the original.
Fine.
In the original, a lot of like the way that you see him a lot of the way that they tell you he's a bad guy is because he treats his dog so poorly, and that made me sad in the original because I like animals, I like dogs,
I know, he's
and it's
so
like, oh, it's
cute.
so sad, and like he makes his dog pull this huge sleigh and everything. And in this one, you have like the live action dog, which is it's entertaining to watch, especially with
works.
Jim
Yeah.
Carrey like slinging the dog around.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny and it has some good setups.
Interactions between the-
it does rely on a lot of gross out humor.
Yeah.
Which works. There is the one scene where he sneaks into the mayor's house. Is it when he's stealing the presents?
Yeah.
He sneaks into the mayor's house, and the mayor is having like a dream about his ex-wife
oh
or
yeah.
something.
Also, like again, like totally, that like the it's not his ex-wife. Like I don't even know. Like that's so weird. I don't
She's
know what
just
the
a single
relationship
lady.
is.
Yeah.
She's like single, but like the mayor was like, I was dating her in like elementary school, and then he proposes to her.
Yeah.
But and also she's like so sexualized. Like.
I think all of those movies have like a weird out of nowhere character that just shows up and is over sexualized for little to no reason except for like that the filmmakers were like, wouldn't it be funny if we put that in?
It's just it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like you're like, oh, it's a kids movie. Sometimes it is, other times
Also-
it's not. Like when he goes into the mayor's house and the mayor's having a dream about this woman, and then he's like pretending to kiss her. So the Grinch puts his dog's butt up to the mayor's face, and then they animate the dog's eyes to go really wide. I was not a huge fan of that scene.
That was. Yeah.
I said it before, but there were a few times where I genuinely like had a laugh. Like there's like the one part where he's
I'm an idiot. You're an idiot.
yeah, like he's like talking to himself in like the echo, and it's supposed to be like I don't need anybody else. Like I can have myself, and he like starts like talking to the echo, but then he like gets mad at it. It's like, oh, like stop repeating me like myself. So he like just like, oh, I'm an idiot. And then you hear back,
You're an idiot.
you're an idiot.
So that is clever. That to me, that's very Jim Carrey though.
Yeah.
But
That's very
that
hilarious.
that part actually does work. It's not the Grinch's character, but it's still funny. It's
It's
entertaining.
very funny.
And then what else? The World Hunger line. That's pretty funny.
that
He's
is.
going over his list of things to do, and it's like a
That
bunch
was
of
the
bad
most
stuff.
relatable part of the entire thing. He's like, 6 o'clock, self-loathing. 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
thinking about how much I hate myself. 9 o'clock, crying myself to sleep. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm booked today, guys. Like, it's just.
But the thing is, like, that would have worked if they had focused on more stuff like that.
No, but
Without trying to
but-
still tell
like
the
a-
Grinch story. I don't know.
But even that joke was. I didn't like the self-loathing stuff. Like, okay, yeah, whatever, I get it. But then the solved world hunger. Tell no one. I love that.
That
It's
was
just like
great.
Yeah. But like that stuff's funny, and I'm glad that they put that in there. I think we all wish they put more of that in there.
Yeah.
And then I would just want to say real quick the last time I laughed. I'm a little ashamed that I laughed at this, but when they're doing like the potato sack race, and then they start playing the music, like,
That was funny.
and it's like slow motion. Yeah, it's just it's so stupid.
It's dumb, but I love it.
I realized that like a good majority of the parts that I laughed at, I feel like my dad wrote those jokes and just threw them in because that's like my dad's style
Yeah.
of humor.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought about that, and I was like, it kind of makes sense. I don't think he worked on the Grinch, but I wouldn't say it's unreasonable to assume. So maybe I'll have to ask him about that.
You guys ever think about how weird it is, though? Just like random thing, nobody cares about it. But I just want to say, why is there like a present like mailing service and everything? Like that seems like a little strange. Like there's an entire industry. Like everybody's like sending presents everywhere. It's like,
just supposed to function as a plot device, I think. I wouldn't.
It is, but
like their whole like culture is surrounded like around Christmas. So I think like I guess that makes sense.
Is it Christmas or just holidays in general?
I think just Christmas, because they even mention like all the other holidays. I mean, like they're whatever, but Christmas, that's the real deal.
Hey, what about Hanukkah? Right, we get 8 days. Granted, when you get older, it's like one, sometimes no present per day, depending on where you come from. For me, my parents were like, "All right, you get like 1 or 2," and I'm like, "That's reasonable." But then you have like your neighbors, who the kids are like, "I got 2 presents every day for 8 days," and I'm like, "Good for you, Timmy, Billy, Sharon." I don't know. I'm not gonna name any of my real neighbors, but I just thought of like cliched names.
But I don't know, because like the way they come about it is like it's like they're shipping it somewhere else. But as far as we can tell, Whoville is the only place that we know of.
I didn't even think about that.
Because like they're all like, I need this place go quickly. I need it very quickly, and it's like, why? Like
also,
how do they have contact to the outside world?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, like I didn't see any factories. It's like a little town.
Oh
like,
my God!
How do they make anything?
Wait. I just realized something. So, Ahmed, you were there when you watched this with us. Pete, have you seen Twilight Zone? Do you know what that is? Okay,
I know what Twilight Zone is. Yes.
All right. I didn't want to assume. I don't know. So there's the episode Eye of the Beholder, which is I don't want to spoil anything for just 'cause it's a really good episode. Check it out. Yada yada. The whole thing is at the end. There's this twist with how the characters look. So I was like, okay, well. All the Who's have really weak chins and like weird noses, which is similar to how it is in. So, granted, that's just because of the Dr. Seuss style, how they're drawn, and they do a good job replicating that. But I was like, wait, they're isolated out in these mountains, and in Eye of the Beholder, they reference like a colony or like a separated unit of deformed people living.
Oh my God!
That's where
Whoville.
they live.
That's Whoville.
Whoville is the place that they reference in the Twilight Zone episode.
But it's on a snowflake.
Confirmed.
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
That's.
It makes too much sense, right?
Where did it? Yeah. Yep. Nope. That's it. We solved it.
And the Grinch is just like super duper deformed. And like, wait. When the babies fly in. That's because they're getting sent to the colony.
They're getting sent to the colony. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It makes so much sense. And oh my God.
It makes too much sense. Oh man, I got some phone calls to make.
So that's where the mail's going? Do they have contact with the other?
Maybe they use like smoke signals. I don't know. Maybe they were like, should we?
They have a mail system. Why would they use? Smoke
I don't know.
signals?
They were like, should we install radio contact? And all the humans were like, no.
I don't know. It's just like a really small town though. So it's not like they're sending things to each other because they see each other on the street all the time. Because like it's a very small place because it's on a snowflake. So why do they need a mailing system unless they're going to the outside world? But if they're going somewhere else, how are they going somewhere else? It's on a snowflake. So then I'm just sitting here going like, why? It's just for a plot device. It doesn't really matter, but it's just.
Maybe they're just sending gifts to themselves because they're lonely. I mean, I do that actually. What were you saying, Pete?
No, man, this whole like Eye of the Beholder thing, that's like blowing my mind.
Think about it, right? Oh my God. I wouldn't have thought of that if I hadn't just watched Twilight Zone like the other day. That's like probably my favorite Twilight Zone episode too.
It's a really good episode.
Maybe not my favorite, but it's definitely up there.
So wait, like, what exactly happens in that episode?
All right.
Just so we like.
Okay, so I don't want to like mess with this flow that we've had, but I will kind of address the viewers just a little bit. Say, if you haven't seen Twilight Zone, go check it out. It's really, really good. There's a lot of great stuff in there. Just go check it out. You'll enjoy it. So there's the episode Eye of the Beholder, and the whole draw of it, right? You have this woman, I don't remember her name, who is like basically the star, but she's wrapped in bandages.
Oh, that one, yeah.
And they keep referencing the whole time that she's deformed and they're trying to do surgery.
And the whole thing, like you just see the bandages, so it's like just audio, right?
And then you never see anyone's face.
Yeah,
and you notice as the episode goes on that like all the doctors and nurses in this facility, you can't really see their faces, sometimes you kind of catch a glimpse of it. The framing and the way that the shadows are set is really, really clever. And you don't take notice right away, but you kind of start to figure it out about halfway through. And then finally, like, you know, you see the woman start to break down because you hear her backstory. She's been berated her whole life for looking ugly. And you assume, like, oh, okay, they're going to take the bandages off and she's still going to be disgusting. So finally, she can't take it any longer, and she rips the bandages off, or no, they take them off.
No, they take it off.
And everyone freaks out, and they're like, "Oh no, the surgery didn't work," and it cuts, and she's like this beautiful young woman, like to us, we're like, what, there's nothing wrong with her, and then she freaks out and runs away. They try to inject her to try and get her to pass out and knock her out so she stops panicking, but she escapes and she's running through the halls of the facility, and then like the music flares up. It's great. I love the way that whole thing is put together.
And then like reveals everybody
it reveals
else's
everyone
faces.
else's faces. They're the ones who are all deformed. They have like pig noses and weird like facial lumps and almost like dog jowls. And finally, she runs into this one guy who also looks like sort of a standard human, and you find out that the norm is that that's where the term beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That's what they reference in the episode.
Right.
Is, you know, your standards for what you like and what's appealing to you are defined by what you're used to. So if everybody looks a certain way, you're like, oh, that's normal. And then you see something that deviates from the norm, and your brain, just human instinct, tells you, oh, that's bad. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is
about
these people are
commentary on
deformed.
society.
So in Eye of the Beholder, at the end, they reference this other place where people who are in their version of the world deformed, although to us they look normal,
Like conventionally attractive.
They reference this location where they can be shipped off to live in an isolated place and sort of start their own community, and that's where the episode ends. You don't find out if she actually agrees to the offer or not, which is a great way to end it. It's just, you know, Twilight Zone does a great job at talking about stuff like that, about sort of these moral gray areas, and it was super ahead of its time.
And it's crazy that they were thinking of Dr. Seuss when they were making it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know they were going to tie it in like that, but I have to applaud them. The transfer from a black and white show from, I think, like the 40s or 50s, or maybe the 60s, to a, when did The Grinch come out?
Like 2000.
Forget the
kind of a long time to wait for fans, but I think they delivered.
I think the payoff was definitely great.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
I
agree. I just realized a flaw in that plot.
What?
Because the people they're sending off are the people who look conventionally normal to the viewer. So then,
Well,
it wouldn't.
I mean, okay, but in the Twilight Zone, like the people who look ugly, they look much uglier than the people in Whoville. Am I right?
Oh, maybe they're just like the descendants or something.
Or no, but like it's like anybody who just doesn't look in that same way.
Exactly.
Because everybody looks exactly the same in that
That's
Twilight Zone
true.
episode.
But all the Who's kind of look similar.
Well,
Except Cindy Lou Who, who weirdly
Except for Cindy Lou Who. Maybe she's the exception.
But they reference that she hasn't grown her nose yet. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, they do reference that.
Is that right?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
say like she hasn't even grown into her like nose or something like that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they all look like that.
So maybe it's just like a congenital growth hormone deficiency. So people who look like that, they just haven't. Usually, you would mature that way.
It's very interesting.
I did not expect this to go in this angle, but I'm really happy with
I think we
with the
solved
way that it
the
did.
Grinch, guys.
We did. You know what?
Yeah.
Should we tie it up there?
Yeah,
I
I think
think
we just solved the
'Cause
Grinch.
I
I mean,
That's a perfect
Yeah,
place to kind of wrap
sure.
it up. Let's. You know what?
I mean, I had more stuff to talk about, but
no,
no,
let's
not
all right,
talking about that.
So
No,
real,
let's move on,
real
though.
quick before we end this.
Are we ending it now?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I don't know if we have that much more to kind of go over, but yeah. Anyway, we hope this was good. I think it was. I mean, everyone's gonna have their own.
I don't
opinion.
like it. Everything sucks. Life is pointless.
That's too bad.
All right, bye. Cameras off. No.
Well, do you want to promote any social media things? You want leave a comment if you have stuff you want us to go over, or stuff to talk about, or suggestions, or if you just want to.
Wait, before we leave,
just wanna have a chat.
Let's talk about comments because that's what we wanted to do.
Oh, we got comments?
We did get comments.
I think your brother.
We
left.
got
Yeah,
two comments from
Both-
people that aren't us. Both of them
for
are
my little
Pete's
brother.
So the first comment is, do a Harry Potter episode. It's coming eventually. It's coming eventually. And then the second one was that Jake should do ASMR, which we agree. We agree.
I've had a couple people tell me that now, and I think it would be a very good idea to pursue something like that. So let me know if you'd be interested in something along those lines.
Why are we even on the podcast?
yeah.
Pete, stop looking at me with that stupid face. Ahmed, you're okay, I guess.
Oh.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a happy Christmas. This is coming out before Christmas.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Please
See you next time.
Please end it before I make myself look like even more of an idiot.
Too late.
I want to die.
And that's where I'm ending it.
Another podcast.
I'm going to keep that in.